Toussaint, and we're catching him just before we have to say au revoir and back to Paris. So you have a brand new CD out, and we're so happy to talk about it. So I'm just going to hand you the mic and let you tell us all about it.
Okay, well, thank you, Dar. It's a record that I just released on Dixie Frog Record in Europe, but it's also going to be released in North America through the producer of the record, Iguan Records, which is a new label from Montreal, Canada. But they're recording a lot of different artists from Canada right now, and over the coming month they're going to start putting out a lot of stuff. And this record was cut in June 2011 in Montreal within 1 week in the studios of Iguan Records. I flew in with a French guitar player that I recorded with on my live CD from 2004. Very good Jimmy Vaughan fan, guitar slim, this kind of guitar playing, very good guitar player. And the drummer is also a French guy that owns Iguan Record, Nico Wayne, who's the producer of the record. And we have Kevin Mark playing the bass. And Kevin is a guitar player and a bass player from Montreal, pretty famous there. He has his own band. So that's the quartet. And then we have guests, including David Maxwell, who recorded over 10 songs on the record. And then JP Source is also on it. Rod Piazza is on it. Guy Davis, I do a duet with Guy Davis. Great vocalist and guitar player from New York. And two players from Europe, a great piano player, a great friend of mine, Mr. Boogie Woogie from Holland, and also a great sax player from Germany, Tommy Schneller. So that's and Monster Mike Welch, who I also worked with in the past, is also playing a song on it. So it's a great record for me because there's a lot of originals, and still I was able to bring in a lot of people that mean something for me in the blues music.
I will be the lonely number.
The CD is phenomenal. We got to listen to it already, and we're very excited about it. And I'm just curious, Lonely Number, where's that come from? It's the title track.
I was in the car with my ex-wife, and she's the only child in the family, and she comes up, she says, you know what, one is a lonely number. And I was like, wow, that's a nice quote. And I took a piece of paper and I wrote it, and it stayed. And so that song I wrote kind of for her, but not for her because it's not her story, but kind of influenced by that quote she said.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's deep. It's like when you start listening to it, you feel the loneliness, definitely. And JP Source, you guys have been friends for a little bit.
He was one of the very first people I played with when I arrived here in South Florida. A friend, Steve Harvey, had mentioned his name to me, and I went to the back room to check him out, and then we met. Then he was very friendly. Then John Yurt and JP, I think, offered me to come every other Thursday as a special guest in JP's band, and so I was, John Yurt was paying me for that, and I was coming and to share half of the JP set, singing also. I thought that was extremely generous from him to give me a part of his, evening. And that we did for a few months, if I recall, and that was that and a few other things were the beginnings for me here in South Florida, to get people to know me, to get my first, place where I can play and sing. Him, John Yurt, and Kilmo was also very influent at my beginnings here.
And you actually represented South Florida in the International Blues Challenge. We kind of claimed you as our own as soon as you came here.
I was proud of that, very proud of that. Hopefully I'll be able to represent you again with a better success.
Well, you did great. And the CDs, how many CDs is this for you? This is number 4?
That's my number 9.
Number 9, wow.
9 and 8 on Dixie Frog. I had my very first one in '97 that I produced myself. That's out of print. And I have a number 10 coming up in May 2012, which is we call it BTC because it's 3 guys. Neil Black, who's a Texas guitar player who later on moved to New York, and then he lives in France now. Neil Black. Fred Chapelier, who's actually is a guitar player from France, is representing France at the IVC this year.
Oh, cool.
So you probably will see him. He's a big fan of Roy Buchanan. And me. So the three of us, we share the stage. We have a great backing up band with a French drummer that was the drummer of Luther Allison, the keyboard of American player from Popa Chubby, Mike Luttrell, and a great bass player too. So that's a sextet, I guess. And we recorded a live album. We also recorded studio tracks, and this is coming out in May also on Dixie Frog. So when I do albums like this, where I actually really take a part of it, I include it in my discography. So that would be my CD number 10 in May.
Wow, you're busy.
Yeah.
And you do something else I just found out that's very interesting. You bring tours of people from France here to hear blues and to go to different events in Chicago and Memphis and Clarksdale.
That's a chance that I have to work with a blues society in France called Blues Station. And this guy that runs the blues station, blues societies in France, it's only volunteers. So they don't make any money on it. But they spend a lot of time promoting, putting up gigs. So this guy has put up over 80 or 82 shows, which is meaning 2 or 3 bands a night minimum, because sometimes he has also festivals with 4 or 5 bands, including Magic Slim. I mean, all the versions of the Chicago Blues Festival that come over to Europe, like a package with bands, Kelly, with whoever. He has everybody that plays over at this place. I recorded a live record there, my live of 2004, the French CD. It was recorded in his room, and we're good friends with this guy. And one day I tell him, I go to Chicago, I see things that are so incredible. But you have to know, those places I go to, like Lee's and Leather Blues, but also some places where Killer Ray Allison will play, you will never find it in the reader. Nobody knows about it, especially if you're coming from France and you hope to catch some blues in Chicago. Where are you going to go? Kingston Mines Blues?
Right.
It's okay, but something else is happening deeper some other places.
Right, exactly.
So I said, it's been many trips I do. I spent 3 months going every night out in Chicago, trying to jam, meet people, Jimmy Burns, John Primer, everybody. So I tell him, I wish all those people that come to your shows, they could get a chance to see the blues the way I see it, because it's what you're doing is great, but it's something else when you have Phil Guy sit next to you,
just
on a Monday night to go see Billy Branch down at Artists,
right.
And you never know who's gonna show up and come and play. And so he said, well, let's do it. Let's put up a tour. And so he had all the financial structure to get the money, manage to buy the rooms and everything. And so I organized the trip, and we're doing the trip number 6 or 7 this year. We're gonna go to Tampa Blues Festival. So I take 18 people on the road with me. We rent cars, we book the hotels, and I manage the places where we go, and I organize basically what the activities of what we do. It's not so much touristic, it's really blues orientated.
Right.
And then I think around here in Miami, for example, we're gonna be off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday here in Miami. We'll go to Boston's on Tuesday night. I'll take them to Vizcaya, the beautiful house.
Right.
Of course, we have a hotel in South Beach, So, and I want to take them to El Palacio de los Jugos. Yes, that's a restaurant, Cuban restaurant on Flagler and 57. That's very typical. I want also them, since we're here in Miami or in South Florida, to have also the feeling of what it is to live in a zone that is so intercultural.
Yes.
And so that's the kind of stuff that we do, and then we go up to Chicago for a weekend too.
That's great. And I know you guys went to Clarksdale for one of the tours.
Yes, we were for the how do you call it, the Juke Joint
Festival. I'm sure you went to Reds.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite places.
With it all. I don't remember, because Clarksdale only went once, so I don't really know the places. But
it's the tiniest place, and the roof leaks, and it's crazy looking.
With the barbecue outside.
With the barbecue outside,
and Bean, Armand and Ika Bean was leading the jam, and we got to see Jackson. What's his name?
Big Jack
Johnson.
Johnson.
Exactly. And that was a year before. We saw him also at the Chicago Blues Festival at Space. There's some incredible footage of that on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
It must have been in 2008, I think, in Chicago. And then he passed away the year after.
Right.
So, yeah. And then in last October, we also were in West Elna for the Blues Fest.
Oh, nice.
That was great because I got to see for the first time, and they all got to see cotton fields.
Yeah.
You know, you always hear about cotton fields. I never had seen it. How high is that?
Right.
What's the texture when you touch it? You know, I never had a feeling of that. So in October, the cotton was blooming, so we got to see the cotton fields, and sad to say, but again, black people working in the fields,
right,
on the cotton with machines,
well,
but you know, who's working
now,
on it?
But it is a big,
Yeah.
huge part of what the life was like back, back when
It's
blues
incredible.
was kind of began. People were working in the cotton fields.
Was very moving.
Yeah.
Buddy Guy said something very nice about it because he said we drove in a bus from Memphis down to here, and man, I could see this cotton, and of course, you guess how many memories it brings back to me.
Right.
I think it was easy to say,
Mm.
but I think from him it actually was meaning something.
It means even more,
Yeah.
of course. Yes. They have in Clarksdale the Shack Up Inn, which is a historical place. It was a plantation way back when, and now it's a place where people can stay, and they kind of keep it to look like it used to, and they keep a lot of the artifacts and stuff. And sometimes, it brings back some memories for people that are not so pleasant, but it's just still a part of history, and you have to remember the unpleasant times to make sure they never repeat themselves.
Of course, so that's what I do.
So
I
you're
take
really-
those people all around.
Yeah,
I
you're
try to
giving
show
them a whole different side of what the blues are. I mean,
Exactly.
like you say, you can't imagine that when you're in France, but when you see it, with your own eyes, it's really probably opening a million different opportunities for people, and also a new respect for the music.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's very cool. And back to your CD, I don't know if you realize this, but JP's nominated for a Blues Music Award this year.
Wonderful.
And so
He deserves it.
is, I believe Guy Davis is nominated, and Rod's always nominated, and David Maxwell's nominated. So you did a pretty good job picking out your special guest for this, don't you think?
I choose them for their music.
Yes.
But I also want to say that I'm happy I cover a song of Dave Shelley.
I saw that.
The
That's
number
very
2.
Cool.
And
Yes.
One Fine Day, because we were working together on and off with Gilmo, and one day he tells me, I wrote a song, and it's a song I would like you to hear because it's really a song for you to sing. I was like, okay, cool, and it never happened. We never got together. He never, and then he recorded his album,
Right.
and then he recorded that song, One Fine Day. And when I was in the studio, or in the process of going to the studio for that record, I called him and I said, could you send me the One Fine Day song, because maybe I can cover it, because of what you had told me,
Uh-huh.
So he sends me the song, and we listen to it with the French guitar player I have, and I tell him, I would like to come up with something different than the arrangement of Dave.
Right.
And immediately, Florian, the guitar player, he came up with the great lick that opens up the song. And I said, that's it, man. It sounds great. And so we recorded it our own way. So it's
Sounds
funny.
great. Yeah,
It's funny. I'm happy.
I'm always a liner note reader and everything. So, yeah, I saw Dave's name on here, and I was like, because when I heard the song, I recognized the lyrics, but you've arranged it differently, which is both are great arrangements. But then I grabbed the CD case and looked, and I saw Dave's name on there, so I thought that was very nice as well. Very cool. Well, we're going to miss you when you go back to France, but I'm so glad to hear you're coming back in April. And we're going to see you over at the Tampa Festival. And Albert's playing at the festival,
Nice.
which is very nice.
Great.
And maybe we can figure out some kind of way to get you to the jam that night or something.
That'd be cool. James Cotton is also playing
James
there.
Cotton is playing too, and Jimmy Vaughn, I believe, is there
Yeah,
as well.
Jimmy Vaughn is there, and they have like a Delta Groove record harmonica
Right.
showcase
Right.
with Mitch Kashmar, who is one
He's
of my.
great, yeah.
I've never seen him, and I'm a big fan of his playing, so it's gonna be very interesting.
It's going to be fun, definitely. And have safe travels. Come back soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir, merci da. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, South Florida.
I'm gonna see the light. That somebody that will treat me right. One fine day. One fine day. can't stop thinking that she's alright. Tell me, has she lost her way? Or will she come back home one fine day?